Thank you, Mary, and thank you for everybody for being here and for the folks who are online. Before I begin, I just want to say briefly, thank again the staff for the presentation today on the summer assessment. I think it's an important report. I encourage everybody to look at it. I think it also underscores our need for the action that the Commission took just 10 days ago on Order Number 1920 and 1977. In particular, I'd like to highlight some of the comments and feedback that we received. There was a quote today in a publication from Kentucky Chair Kent Chandler, who really talked about the cost of inaction and how important it is to address these reliability needs for our consumers. I also want to point you to Michigan Chair Dan Scripps, who had a Twitter or X, I don't know what to call it, thread that really went into great detail on how states will be at the table and will play an important role in implementing Order 1920. I also want to mention DC Public Service Commission Chair Emil Thompson, who also came out this week and strongly supported the action that FERC took. So with that, I will take any questions starting in the room. Tom.
Thank you, Tom Tiernan with Energy Daily. On the summer assessment, the staff pointed out the wildfire risks that are occurring that can hinder solar resource output. There were just strong storms in the Midwest that took out several wind power facilities, large turbines. I know those are state resource decisions, not FERC's responsibility, but I guess to your point about transmission, do you feel the impetus on transmission is even more important given some of the risks that were just presented here in the staff report?
There is no one thing that the Commission can do that can better address the reliability concerns of our nation and for our consumers than transmission reform. That's why this rule, the rule that we passed, Order 1920, is so important. And when it comes to the assessment, one of the things that I've noticed is that we've seen in year after year, the shoulder months, if you will, both May and October, that they're getting warmer and warmer. And that means that our utilities, which usually have planned outages during these spring and fall months, that they have to be even more vigilant because we could have an unplanned outage during a planned outage. And so it is important, it is critical that we be vigilant and that we know that our utilities have the tools that they need, but we also plan for the future. Thank you. Maya?
It's Maya Weber with S&P Global Commodity Insights. I have a question regarding the Mountain Valley Pipeline. There's been a bit of clamoring for FERC to play a role in increasing the transparency around what's happening with addressing some of the safety issues. And I'm wondering how you view that, and also if you could speak to how FERC, the role that FERC plays with PHMSA in a situation like this when you have a consent order, but FERC will be making the ultimate decision on whether to start service.
First of all, thank you for the question, Maya. Let me say this. When it comes to our pipelines and the oversight that FERC has over pipelines, safety is always top of mind. Safety of our consumers is the most important thing. We take this extremely serious. My understanding is the situation regarding MVP, that it involved a hydrostatic test. And just to take a step back for a moment, tests like these are done on the front end to make sure that any defects that are found in a pipeline, that they are addressed before the pipeline actually goes into service. That's what MVP did here, and the test did what it was supposed to do. To be clear, we will act when we are needed to act, but for now, this test did what it was supposed to do, and that's what I have to say on that.
All right. Any questions from anybody online? Speak up. I don't see any hands up. Oh, wait, I do. Let's go to Carlos Anchondo from E&E News.
Hi, thank you, Chair Phillips. To follow up on MVP, PHMSA has said they know approximate cause of the rupture during that May 1 hydro test, but they have not said what that cause is. Does FERC know the cause of that rupture on May 1? And are you able to disclose that? And if not, why not?
I don't have that information with me right now, Carlos, but I will make staff available to address any follow-up questions. Thank you.
Okay, next we will go to Corey Paul from S&P.
There we go. Yeah, I wanted to ask about the new National Ambient Air Quality Standards for PM 2.5. So there was a story in the Financial Times the other day about FERC having to look more closely at this issue, and of course we've seen this come up in the proceeding with Calcasieu Pass. We've seen CP2 rather. We've seen the EA for Cheniere's mid-scale project get pushed back by a few weeks. I'm wondering just kind of how this is, if you can speak to how this is affecting environmental reviews. I can just think of these two cases, but are there kind of broader impacts to some of the projects in your queue?
A little difficult to hear, but I think you were asking about environmental regulations and impact on LNG review. Let me first say, when it comes to CP2, that is a pending matter, and so I can't address the merits of that particular proceeding. But let me talk about our process a little bit more. When it comes to LNG review, these are extremely complex proceedings. They are among the most complex things that we do. A typical FERC order on an LNG project, it can take years to review, and it can include over 100 different contingencies within the order. The reason why it takes so long, and the reason why we have to be so careful, and FERC staff takes their time to build the record, is because we need to act on an order that is legally durable. That is what serves all stakeholders best. So thank you.
Thanks. I'm sorry. Sorry, I was a little muffled. I was specifically asking about the NAAQS, the NAAQ standards.
We consider environmental regulations, as I mentioned in a letter responding to the Hill just this week, because we want our rules to be legally durable. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to go next to Ethan Howland from Utility Dive.
Hi, Chairman. Thanks for taking our questions. My question has to do with the pending NOPR on transmission incentives and the FERC policy for transmission incentives. That's been pending for a couple of years, and I'm just wondering if you can give us an update on sort of where it's at and how you're thinking about moving it forward.
Thank you for the question. We do have a number of matters regarding incentives, also regarding ROE. We have a court that has asked FERC to take action on a specific portion of ROE, and this is something we will take up in the near term. These matters are on our radar. Trust me when I say I have a tremendous chart that keeps all of our orders right in front of me. Nothing's going to fall through the cracks under this chair. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions here in the room?
Sure. Maya Weber with S&P Global Commodity Insights again. A question on another proposed rule. I think it was a couple years ago under the prior chair, there was a duty of candor rule that sparked a lot of comment. We haven't heard a lot about that for a long time. I'm wondering, is that something you're still mulling doing, or is it pretty much just dormant?
I don't remember exactly what the procedural posture is on that rule. And I know the thing I say that's not right, Maya, you're going to write it and make a headline out of it. So I'll make staff available to address where we are with that proceeding.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate you.
Okay, do you have any questions for staff on the